This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the November the 15th, 2022 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they mean for the town. We kick off this week with our first public hearing in a couple of months, this time for the new home hardware location. The variance request, which was for a higher fence to accommodate a materials storage compound, was not particularly controversial and drew no opposition. However, the request and its conversation give us some insight into what the new location is going to look like when it's completed.
All right, so we'll call to order. Councillor Gerard removing himself from conflict. Thank you. So now call to order public hearing. Be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa to open this public hearing representation to variation application VO 12000 of Michelle Gerard representing 100549966 Manitoba Limited. Moved by Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Kostenchuk. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Now, can I ask a question? Sorry if I'm out of order. We have this, and we don't anymore. Like, we have the package with all the pictures and everything,
We
and
don't.
the diagram is not here anymore.
None of us have it. I don't have it.
So, what, I
Oh,
think it's because this is the
okay.
public hearing
No,
part.
Do
no.
you have to go to the other agenda?
Go to
You have to go
your
out to your-
agenda thing. Okay, go to the menu.
Right
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
it
you just
there on the
hit-
other agenda?
So go there, yeah.
here.
It did come up.
Is there a way to link that so that we don't have to go back and forth?
Take a separate second.
Thank you.
I could place them into the body of the regular, but there's always a separate agenda.
I thought.
What gremlins still in
Yeah.
there? I never
I
thought it.
knew it was there, I read it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay. So I guess, Jeff?
Sure. So this is application V-01-2022-N. Owner is 100549966 Manitoba Limited, applicant Michelle Gerard. The proposal is a variation to allow for the maximum fence height of 3 feet be increased to 6 feet in the front yard within the CH commercial highway zone for the noted property, and which they're affecting is Lot 1, Plan 69374, being 142 Main Street West. And the reasoning to support is to allow for location of a material storage compound for the new commercial retail store. As part of the variation process, this application or this public hearing notice gets sent out to property owners within a minimum of 100-meter circumference of the noted property. As of today, my office has received no concerns for or against proposal.
Yeah, that's
Mr. Chan here, he's also the half.
Al, sure, come up, move up. Do you have any other comments?
Sit here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my name's Alvin. I just represent the Neepawa Home Hardware just for this variance public hearing, and as a retail store, we're going to store our building materials in the compound, so 3 feet is kind of more practical.
Yeah, so you don't step over it.
That's for sure, yeah.
Okay, any
If
questions?
I could, just on behalf of the applicant as well, there was just some pictures submitted, just showing just of support of other properties. If everybody wants to see them, or just showing that there is in the community and various locations and heights.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there are some on Highway 5 already. Looks normal.
So what type of fence would it be?
Just chain link,
Chain link?
yeah.
It's remaining open, right?
Say it again?
If it's going to be, you're not going to be slatting it, or it's going to remain open.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Not like the wall we allowed to build on the corner of.
So So just a question about the height, 6 feet. It seems really reasonable. I was just curious, what height do you start your base at? Like, if there's a path adjacent to this property that we're looking to fence. Where would the height be? Is it level with the pavement?
The height, this is a very specific question. I do not know. But for the whole path, the engineer give us a level, objective one, yeah.
That's, yeah, like the site was provided with an engineered drainage plan, so the fence height is consistent with that,
With that
those elevations, yeah.
With that, we have to prepare the site, remove the silt and put the gravel down, do the complex test.
One more question for Jeff too is, because it's a corner lot, you might even consider the Veterans Way approach, the front of the store in some cases. And in that situation where the fence is looking to be built, it would be the rear of the building. On commercial lots, do you always use the highway as the frontage?
Not necessarily. Typically, it's just determined on what the potential average front yard would be. In this case, there's potential or the future design for a road parallel to that walking path, and I guess in future site, we're deeming that as the front yard in order to keep it consistent throughout to Dominion Road. But you are correct. In an instance where maybe development does change it and commercial highway goes down Veterans Way, then correct, Veterans Way would be frontage for some properties, yes.
Just not this one though,
Yeah.
this one has 142 Main Street, it was given to the address to be based on lot proximity to the DOPH.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll move into adjournment. Be it resolved that the council of the town of Neepawa do now adjourn the public hearing at 7:08. Moved by Councillor Nadeau, seconded by Councillor Costichuk. All in favor? Carried.
In council reports, Councillor Gerard reports on the White Mud Watershed AGM, including its new budget. As a protector of waterways, White Mud Watershed is invested in the remediation projects due to the 2020 flooding, including but not limited to the damage at Park Lake. While the focus of the town has been on the effects of the flood within town limits, the watershed district encompasses a much larger area, including the upstream breaches that contributed to the flooding.
Councillor Gerard.
Yes, on November the 15th, or this morning, the White Mud Watershed had their annual meeting. We discussed and reviewed past projects for the year. There was a few particular things of interest for the town of Neepawa. Number one, we have approved the budget for the upcoming year. So with the new budget coming for the watershed, previously the rate charged to the municipality was 0.25 mil, not $250,000, but 0.25 of a mill rate, and this year it will be updated to 0.33 because of the cost of projects that happen. So there will be an increased cost coming forward to the town. Number two, 2020, when we had our rain event, which everyone refers to as Park Lake, what started that night was a breach of water on the north end of our community that came in through Monroe's, an area like that. There was a water structure just northwest of Cathcart's that was damaged. It is under repair as we speak. It should be repaired ahead of spring, so it should provide some protection for the community coming forward on this year. As well, a lot of questions coming forward to the town about our Park Lake project. So I would like to just put forward as maybe a recommendation that maybe town, we could either have a open house with some of our White Watershed partners, or even the staff. They don't feel like they're totally understanding what's happening with the Park Lake project, so they'd like to be brought up to speed on that. And said we've just awarded contracts, and Again, there was no parameters that the town really put forward as to what Park Lake had to look like. It was 100% what was approved under the disaster financial assistance. It is in no way reflective of any choices that the town is making in tax dollars or anything like that. It is 100% a disaster financial assistance project. But that being said, because they feel that Park Lake could have a potential impact within the watershed, I think they would just like to be aware of what's going on. So. And I got a list of the projects that were completed within the whole watershed. We are one of the larger watersheds in the province, and a number of projects, and they've had a really good year on the construction year and maintenance year, and they've spread out quite evenly to the northwest of us, which is for the town of Neepawa, and then trying to take care of our neighbors to the east of us who receive our water ultimately. So it was good, very good meeting this morning, very positive dialogue.
Can I just ask then, we haven't done the kickoff meeting for construction on Park Lake yet. We're planning that within the next couple of weeks. Would that be feasible to invite Rodney to that, or would you like to come on behalf of what the watershed and the Spillo as well, to listen to what's going on, or how would that help?
I think just to share information.
So just sharing, they don't need to really sit in?
Well, if they want to come to a kickoff, or if we're going to do something even with the community, but I think just a general reach out, just so that the watershed can share with all the sub-districts that are asking, because they want to know if we've got any water control that we're going to be managing on it, or is it, strictly the spillway. I'm sure that it was just the spillway, but they have questions as they felt it would be better if there was. But again, I said, like, it's a DFA project, and it is what it is. So it's. I think they just want to be brought up to speed.
Manager of Operations Denise Kay covers the most recent updates on projects around town, which for the first time in several weeks does not revolve around the roads. Most public works projects have now wrapped for the year due to the seasonal change. The temporary access to Park Lake has now been removed, and the new permanent access is in use. Also, Christmas lights have now been put up around town for the remainder of the year, in plenty of time for the town's kickoff holiday weekend on November 26th. And right now, one of the department's priorities is working on next year's budget.
Thank you, Mayor Headley. Further to what Councillor Gerard is referencing on the Park Lake project. We did a swing by this morning as far as the last project. The bridge work has been completed. They've removed the temporary access. We're going to have the culverts in place. They're still tidying that up. Everything looked satisfactory for what they were completing. There's some Stantec representation there, inspecting the work that's been done. I believe we have a kickoff meeting next week.
It could possibly, yeah, I
Starting?
think next week, if not the week after.
I think some of the work is going to start next week on that side, so we may start seeing the equipment mobilized in as early as next week. We still have our kickoff meetings to have yet there. So. Staff got our Christmas lights installed this morning, so that's nice to see. Most of our construction projects have wrapped up with Public Works. The Mill Street one being the one water and sewer there. We'll push back the remainder of the storm sewer installation until further. Contractors have completed the first leg of our hospital road installation, so that's up and functional for road construction to continue their work on site. DFA work is still, remedial work is still ongoing for this year's claim of 2022. Met with contractors that will still be working and preparing, so we'll still be working probably into December doing some excavation and repair work. Tricor, we'll discuss a little further about the meeting regarding the other contract that went out, and then it's that time of year, the budget, so busy starting to build the budget and punch numbers in and see how they effectively are right now. So.
Did I hear you say the Christmas lights are up now?
They're up and we'll see how it goes.
It's hard to believe that it's this time of year.
Yeah, staff are busy sourcing Ballard Tree right now. We've got one, but we're not too sure they're happy with the quality, so we'll see.
Excellent.
CAO Colleen Sinchishin covers several items of correspondence and ongoing projects. The town has received its annual renewal for 911 services, While the cost per capita has not increased this year, the town will see an increase due to our substantial increase in population in the last census. The town of Neepawa has submitted a joint application to the Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program alongside Rosedale, North Cypress, Langford, and Glenelg Lansdowne for a review of the Yellowhead's operations. This is one of the 9 applications approved this year. Then this is the same program that financed last year's review of the operations of the handy van. The review is intended to help with efficiencies in the organization and look at service improvements and additional revenue streams. While the funding had to be applied for by a municipality, the actual review will be conducted directly with the Yellowhead.
Correspondence, Colleen.
First one you have from the Browning Public Safety Communication Center. This is just something you receive annually to let you know what your 2023 this time, the 911 service agreement. So looking at 2022, it was $4.74 per capita. It remains $4.74 per capita. The difference being we went from 4,609 people to 5,685. So you're going to see a $5,000 increase. So 911 will be paid $26,946.90 in 2023 to provide this services.
It's definitely necessary. Don't think anybody will argue with that.
One more correspondence. Come and go tea Friday. Hearts forward for the retirement of Dr. George Ong, who was an incredible facilitator for the way our medical clinic has evolved and the positioning that Neepawa has had in the medical world.
The timer?
Starts at 5.
Five.
Goes till
5 till midnight on Friday.
5.
And sorry, that's this Friday. Did you say?
This Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Municipal Relations, Minister of Municipal Relations.
So from the Office of the Minister of Municipal Relations, I'm pleased to inform you that your municipality's joint application with the municipalities of Rosedale, North Cypress, Langford, and Glenelg Lansdowne for the review of the Yellowhead Community Recreation Center operations has been conditionally approved under the 2022-23 Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program. The assigned consultant to complete the service review is Deloitte LLP, who will be in contact with the municipality shortly. The approval is conditional on a statement of work to be drafted jointly between the municipality and your assigned consultant and submitted to us by December 2nd for review and endorsement. So this was kind of exciting news. There's only been 2 intakes for this particular program. The first intake last year, we were approved one of 11 applications to review the handgun service in Neepawa. And this time we were approved one of 9 applications to have the Yellowhead operations reviewed. We've reached out already to the board, the executive of the board of the Yellowhead. We're excited to begin this endeavor, and it is by no means to criticize or look at what could be, what has been done wrong perhaps, and we're not saying there was. This is more from the perspective of what efficiencies they can find, is there revenues they could, opportunities that could be present for them to increase the revenues and be more sustainable. Is there expenditures that maybe they need to look at, you know, stopping the bleeding per se, if money is going out the window for certain things. So this is a good review. We found after the handyman one was done as well, some simple things that are going to improve the service there, and make sure that when, for example, when they charge a ridership fee, that ridership fee takes into account the cost of the fuel that has risen over the last year. So all of these things will be reviewed, probably taking a look at as well, you know, the users, the complement of people that call that facility their community facility for many different things, and how to make that more sustainable. So this is exciting. We're going to launch this, and just to be clear though, like the handyman service, Neepawa, the town of Neepawa is not going to be involved very heavily into this. We were the conduit for this to happen. It had to be filed by a municipality to get this to happen, so we were happy to do that, and we will make sure that we keep the pieces and the players all together to see what the results and the recommendations will be.
Centrishian also provides an update on the status of the remaining DFA or Disaster Financial Assistance projects, particularly at Park Lake. Construction work is primarily focused now on the new dam and spillway. Work will continue until December 22nd and then resume after the holidays, aiming to remove the existing dam throughout January. Following that, they will not be on site again until May the 5th, with construction carrying on throughout the summer. The town received 5 tenders for the golf course bridge replacement, all of which were compliant with the necessary regulations and requirement, so the recommendation was to proceed with the lowest bid.
So we have Stantec out here one day last week, just to give us a little update on where they're at with certain contracts they're dealing with under the Disaster Financial Assistance Program for us. And I asked them to send a little summary because it's always nice to share with the public where we're at. So the Neepawa Park Lake Dam contracts were signed with the town of Neepawa on that particular day they came out, and Tricor Projects Limited, who would be the contractor for that particular project. So just to give you an idea, general summary of the schedule from the contractor would be to mobilize the equipment on Friday, November 25th, with general site preparation work beginning on Monday, November 28th. The general site preparation will include the setup of laydown areas, access ramp and route grading, and the replacement of a temporary culvert crossing. So this would be the one more easterly into the bed of Park Lake that was washed out during the 2022 flood. That crossing necessary and essential for taking material and aggregate to the south side of Park Lake so that they can continue with their works and start beginning what they need to do with the spillway. Once the temporary culvert crossing is replaced, Rob Smith and Sons will be able to haul in the remaining Class 1000 riprap and remove the out of specification Class 800 riprap from the site. And best this is done once the freeze up occurs. Construction work will continue up to December 22nd, which will include the removal of the existing spillway and dam, along with installation of the new sheet piles for the new spillway. The contractor will have a holiday break between December 22nd and January 3rd, and will continue to remove the existing dam throughout January of 2023. They will then not be on site from the end of January until May 5th. The remainder of the new dam and spillway construction will be completed between May 5th and September 26, 2023. Speaking a little bit more to that project, there's currently not a Department of Fishery and Oceans permit for the new dam and spillway. They are in the process of working with that particular federal department to receive this. Many questions have been posed. They did submit in May, and the questions that they're trying to answer relate to fish passage and winter kill. Based on meetings that Stantec's had with DFO, a fish passage structure would not be recommended, but they require some additional information from Stantec regarding dissolved oxygen levels during the winter periods. And Stantec is currently preparing a response to DFO's questions and will have those submitted this week. There is an approved DFO permit to replace the temporary culvert crossing, and as we all know, Denise already mentioned the fact that the temporary culvert crossing at the bridge has already been removed there. And as far as the golf course project tender, later on your agenda, the tenders closed yesterday for that, and I'm asking for a resolution to accept low bid on that tender.
Okay, so our last item, Neepawa Golf Course Tender Award, Bridge Replacement and Riverbank Remediation. Colleen?
So as I mentioned earlier, we actually have in our hands the results of the tender submissions for the golf course bridge replacement and the riverbank remediation. Stantec Consulting actually received 5 bid submissions for the above noted tender. Those 5 ranged from including GST, $970,000 to $1.2 million, basically. All of the 5 were deemed compliant with bid submission documents, and upon review, Stantec recommended we award this particular project to low bid, which would be Tricor, including GST of $970,000, $28.54.
If you've passed by the old co-op building lately, you've likely seen some construction going on in the back parking lot. This is the new location of Whitey's Gym, and the town has negotiated an agreement with the owners regarding sidewalk and parking requirements for the location. The biggest change for the public, other than the installation of a sidewalk on the south and west sides of the building, is the addition of several angle parking spaces on First Avenue.
Okay, Colleen?
So this particular agreement, although it's a numbered company, this would be with the owner, basically Sherry Hawken, and this would be the new gym that's being proposed to be built basically west of the old co-op building. So it references lot 1 to 6, both inclusive of block 2, plan 26984 in the southwest of 331415. And the agreement is to establish certain obligations with respect to the development and the continued use of the subject land. So when this particular individual came forward with this project into the town, we sat down and negotiated what needs to happen based on the layout and the design of the structure, the size of the structure, and being able to meet the zoning requirements for parking and things like that. We also understood there has to be an active corridor for insofar as a sidewalk. So what came about and what we agreed to and what we're asking you to approve tonight is to agree to this agreement that they will construct a sidewalk on the subject land that shall be immediately adjacent to the structure, to be constructed on the west and south sides. It'll be 1.5 meters in width, which would comply with the standards for accessibility that was passed by legislation. And it shall run the entire length of the boundary on the west and south sides. The construction of the sidewalk shall adhere to all applicable bylaws and building requirements of the town, and following construction of the sidewalk, no alterations or additions to the sidewalk shall be permitted without first obtaining the town's permission. Additions requiring town's consent shall include but not be limited to potted plants and bike racks. Upon completion of the sidewalk, they shall be responsible for snow removal, maintenance, and repairs relating to the sidewalk, and they can request the town's assistance for maintenance of the sidewalk. If the town, as a courtesy to this particular property owner, provides any such maintenance or snow removal, the town shall bear no liability with respect to the use of the sidewalk by citizens nor damage to the building on the subject land, and shall indemnify the town of any such liability. As consideration for construction of the sidewalk by the property owner, the town shall allow them to establish angle parking as shown on a schedule which will be attached to the agreement, and the angle parking shall be located partially on the public road on First Avenue. The angle parking shall consist of 12 individual parking stalls. The town does hereby grant to the property owner rights and license in perpetuity over that portion of the angle parking located on the public road allowance to permit them, their agents and customers, the ability to have the public parking and meet zoning requirements. So that is basically the agreement under, although it is binding upon any successors in title, and we will be registering same against the subject property. So if you agree, we need a resolution to...
Any questions? If not, resolution reads, whereas the owners of lots 1 to 6, block 2, plan 76984 in the southwest 331415 west, are in the process of constructing a fitness facility to be known as Whitey's Fitness and Body Shop, have been communicating with the town to ensure the layout of the property and the building takes into account the requirements to install a sidewalk and identify parking stalls. And whereas the council of the town of Neepawa have successfully negotiated an agreement with 101-30058 Manitoba Limited regarding the sidewalk, parking requirements, as well as the obligations of each party for maintenance and repairs. Therefore, be it resolved that the council hereby approve the agreement with written registering same as a caveat against the property title. Moved by Councillor Kostenchuk, seconded Councillor Pottinger. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Also covered were the regular financial reports, Rossburn Trail winter usage, the Handy Van October report, Beautiful Plains Clinic update, renewal of the snow removal agreement for 2023, and a retirement celebration for Dr. George Ong. You can view end-to-end coverage for the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. We'd love to know who's out there watching the program, and if you have any questions that we can help find the answers to. You can reach the station at 204-476-2639, by email at nactvnews@gmail.com, or on Facebook at Neepawa TV. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.